Welcome everyone, Swordsmen Academy Restart. I'm trying to make this series as good as possible since I ended off last time with 4. I'm going to try and make it 5 seasons. I'm totally not drinking Coke in the morning and acting like it's tea. Alright, so let's get started. We have our main character, Adrian Kadoku. Well, actually, I have a better name now. Adrian Kazakura. This boy is born without an ability, a sword ability. I'm going to explain what sword abilities are. Sword abilities are basically a certain type of elemental power that when you use a sword, you can control inside of it. Some of the more talented people can use it without a sword and a sword combined. Some can use it with other weapons, but most of the world's swords. There's only like 3 other wielders, and those are legends: the axe wielder, the spear style wielder, the axe style wielder, and the bow style wielder, which all have the elements in that type of power. So now we get into it. Adrian starts off by waking up in the morning, getting ready for his day. Well, actually, his last day of middle school. He gets a knock on his door by his friend, Alex. His best friend, Alex. Then his sister knocks on his room at the door and says, "Hey, Adrian, get up, it's time. Alex is here to pick you up." He goes, "Fine, Ryuki." I'm kidding, her name's Ryuzaki. As he yawns and gets up, he gets ready and walks to Alex to their final day of middle school. He goes, "So, Adrian, have you decided where you want to go?" Adrian says, "Not yet. I don't even have my ability yet, so I don't know." He goes, "Well, that sucks." Yeah, it does. As in, they walk to school, and then they see a fight. Or actually just a beatdown. Akane, Ryuki, basically, and another student, Remy, who are fighting because they're angry. Because Remy accidentally bumped into her, and Akane got pissed and attacked her. As then, Adrian says, "Crap, Remy's getting beat up," as Remy is Alex's crush, and also Adrian's friend. Basically, they rush in. Adrian throws like a stone at Akane, which her sword instantly obliterates. He goes, "What the?" She goes, "Adrian the loser. It's terrible to see you." He goes, "Leave her alone, Akane. It's not fair. You have an ability. Your ability is 10 times stronger than hers, so back off." She scoffs and says, "Do you want to go then and take her place in the beatdown?" Then he goes, "Sure. Of course I will for my friend." As then he pulls out his wooden sword. Then Akane says, "Bring it on, loser," as in her blade lights up with purple energy. She goes, bam, her blade lights up, and then she starts swinging. Adrian, he usually has 6 of those, so he wields 2 so then he can wield. So then he tries to kick Akane's blade, but she slashes his leg. He goes, "Shit!" As then his leg is slowly being slithered down the middle. As then Akane goes for a kick to the face, and then hits him, knocking him into a wall. Then he's beaten the crap out of. Alex comes in with his lock-on sword, which his sword glows green. His sword glows orange. He goes, as he throws his wooden sword, and the other side hits his head. The handle hits his head and knocks him out. Then, out of nowhere, Akane is about to slice Adrian's head off, but then it's caught in a rage. He goes, "Hey, Akane, back off." He goes, "You always get in my way, Blake. I hate you." He goes, "Whatever." Then, pretending to walk away, she swings her fist into Blake's face. knocking him back. He goes, damn it, I knew you were always like that. Why attack Adrian? What did he do to you? He said, because he's just so powerless and useless. He shouldn't even be in this world. This world is for power. And he goes, as then he pulls out his blade, as then it lights up with red energy, as then they clash. I'll find it, victory is in our name, I know it. Basically just a full-on theme up here as they're clashing. Blitzing all around, as then Akane kicks Blake into the wall, crushing it. Then she charges up a blast from her sword and launches the energy blast. It's about to hit, the sphere is about to hit Blake, but Adrian jumps in front and punches it and grabs it. He goes, as then it explodes. He goes, didn't know I'd be getting in a fight already. It's our last day, Akane, can't you back off? Blake says, you know, Adrian, I didn't need your help. He goes, sure you didn't, buddy, sure you didn't. Adrian launches the blast back at Akane, who then slices through it and then absorbs the rest back into her sword and launches a swipe. Basically, a photon swipe of energy goes and cuts Adrian's face. He goes, as then he falls to one knee as Akane walks away, saying, I have no time for you losers. As then Adrian says, why don't the staff... some kid walks up, a boy named Terrence walks up and says, why doesn't any of the staff stop them? Then Blake says, my family's too rich. If they tried to sue them, they'd sue them right back. If they tried to punish Akane, they'd sue the school. And then Terrence goes, whoa, that's totally unfair. She just gets to walk around bullying people. Then Adrian says, guys, quickly, we gotta go see Remy and Alex. They literally got knocked out. They run to Remy and Alex, as then they're taken to the nurse's office, as then they're healed, because they didn't have they had minor injuries. Then they walk away. They all walk to class, as the first period is pretty normal. And then it's time for sword training. They rush at each other. They rush to the field, as then it's time. Kyoko versus Akane. Akane just stomps on her. Kyoko tries to launch with her purple fire. I'm kidding. Her purple energy... she has a pink energy sword. She launches it because she's not too irrelevant to the story. We're not going to focus too much on her. Akane just launches one blast, knocking her unconscious. Next, Blake and Alex have to spar. These two are rivals and complete equal to each other because of their abilities and their similarities. Alex's sword locks on to Blake, as in it always has eyes on him. So then, when Blake disappears, the sword instantly shifts behind Alex's hand, as in it stabs through, almost stabbing Blake, but since it's a wooden sword, it doesn't hurt. It just knocks him back because of the energy. He goes, your sword's still good, Alex. He goes, yeah, I know that. Then he launches a beam towards him. Alex is about to cut it, but then the teacher runs in and deflects both of the blasts and says, good job, you two. Next, Adrian, you're against Remy. He goes, alright, Remy, you ready? She goes, bring it. As in her lightning sparks, as in she blitzes. He blocks it. He says, just because I don't have an ability doesn't mean I can't fight back. Then he throws his sword, but without a lot of speed, basically. He pretty much is bad. He's not that strong. So when Remy shoots a lightning blast at him, he gets hit by it and is almost defeated. He goes, ah! As he rushes towards Remy. As Remy does know a little bit of hand-to-hand combat, but Adrian is awesome with hand-to-hand combat. As then when Remy goes to slice him, he dodges, grabs the handle of her sword and throws it into the air. Then headbutts Remy in the head, then knees her in the gut, and then kicks her in the face, backflipping. Then does a 360 in the air, and then punches Remy, knocking her out. He goes, "Ah, God, I am so sorry, Remy. I did not mean any of that." Remy is just unconscious as Alex goes, "Oh, Remy, are you okay?" As the simp king he is. As then Blake just smiles, saying, "Simp." As Alex gets pissed, says, "No, I'm not." And then he goes, "Yes, you are." But then, when Remy gets back up, she says, "That was a good fight, Adrian." And then he goes, "Yep." And then he pulls her up. As in, he pulls her back up to the air. Well, actually, back onto the ground, like on 2 feet. You know, you get what I'm talking about. You sussy bakas, don't try and do this. Alright, so let's get into this. So after that, the rest of the battles go on until the final match, Akane. I'm kidding. I said Aura. Adrian versus Akane. Basically, the battle starts. These two start battling, but Akane instantly takes the victory with just one blast. Not much to the fight, as Akane is pretty strong. But again, Akane takes it too far and tries to hit him and tries to punch him in the face with her arm glowing with purple energy. She punches him and he gets blown back. As the teacher calms down Akane and says, "Akane, stop." She goes, "If you don't let me go, I'll tell my parents and you'll be fired on the spot." He goes, "Then let's go." Then Akane just walks away. Adrian says, "Well, I mean, I guess I could. I'm almost ready, I guess." He goes, "Alright, Adrian, you've done great all these years." Then he says, "See you guys next year. See you guys never." As he smiles. As then they start to train. As then Remy says, "Hey guys, you guys want to train for this? Maybe Adrian can unlock his ability." Adrian says, "Sure, let's try." For the 4 months they start to train. Because they get 4 months off instead of, 2. As Adrian is getting powerful. But then they never realized that they had an entire 11 months to train because they can't start the school in the winter because it's hard for the students to actually just get used to the stuff. Because they need to go outside. And when it's snowing out, it's pretty hard. So they wait till the next spring starts. They've been training and on one day, they have a sparring match. Blake versus Adrian, who's got a brand new metal katana. As then he starts to clash, and then stabs Blake in the leg almost. Dodges and kicks the blade into the air, and then kicks Adrian. Adrian slides back and throws his sword. Unknowingly, Akane appears right behind Blake and punches him it's about to go through his throat, but Adrian runs at full speed and grabs the blade, and then rotates and spins. He goes, "Pajama 13, triple womp, womp," and then just stabs him, and then puts his sword to Akane's throat. She goes, "Huh, you're pretty slow, you know." As Adrian looks down, saying, "Wait a minute, what?" Then Akane's behind him. "If I hear no lighter, and then she smiles, saying, "You have a long way to go before you even get close to my level." A knee in the back, which leads his throat into the sword almost. It actually cuts his throat, slits it almost. Basically, blood comes out of his mouth. Basically, spits out blood. Remy tells Akane to leave him alone, but Akane denies and kicks Adrian far into the sky, saying, "You think you're strong? Ha! You're so weak." And then starts to barrage him all around. Basically, that's basically it. Then after that, we have the next part of this, which we're going to end off here since it's already 15 minutes.